The year 1903 marked a cultural transition in the Philippine Church. The last Spanish bishop, Monsignor Martin Alcocer, resigned and gave way to an American, Bishop Thomas Hendrick. The transition from Spanish to American rule was not without difficulty in the church in Cebu.
Protestantism, brought by the Americans, created tensions in the overwhelmingly Catholic population.
The Agdipayan Church raised question on church property.
The first tension was resolved by the arrival of English-speaking Catholic missionaries, the Irish Redemptorists.
The second was a definitive resolution by a landmark Supreme Court decision affirming all church lands belonged to the Catholic Church.
The Redemptorists opened a school in Opa, named after their founder, Saint Alphonsus Ligor. Administration of the school later passed on to the Benedictine sisters.
Bishop Hendrick wrote of his joy in visiting the far-flung stations of his diocese. An excerpt will provide a glimpse of Cebuano faith in those years.
A brass band and a cockpit are the features of every town out here, and the band plays some mighty music and are far superior to those in evidence in our country towns. There are speeches of welcome and a sort of reception. The next morning after Mass, the confirmation begins and probably lasts after dark, and in many places continue next day. In the town of Karkar, I confirmed 5,320 in one day. In one trip along the west coast of the island of Cebu, I visited 27 towns and I administered 31,000 confirmations. In one trip lasting 2 months, I confirmed over 6,000 people.
Bishop Henrick's zeal did not exempt him from cholera, of which he died on November 3, 1909. He was replaced on July 2, 1910, by the first Cebuano bishop, Monsignor Juan Gorordo.
In the 23rd and 27th of February 1917, the Vincentian Fathers or the Padres Paulis celebrated 50 years of presence in the Diocese of Cebu. Almost all of the city joined in the celebrations, headed by Bishops Gorordo of Cebu and Paulo Singson of Calbayo,
Speaker Sergio Osmeño Sr.,
the Roas,
Ramas,
Acosalams,
Cuencos,
Jaimes,
Orgelios,
Iscaños,
Alonsos,
Espinas,
Borromeos,
Ramoses,
Solons,
Noels,
Medallas,
all of whom were products of the historic Colegio de San Carlos de Cebu, run then by the Padres Paulis.
In 1931, Bishop Gorordo resigned due to ill health. He was replaced by Bishop Gabriel Reyes on July 29, 1932. On April 28, 1934, Cebu was raised into an archdiocese, and Monsignor Reyes became Archbishop.
In September 18, 1934, the Lungsuranon was founded. The following year, Archbishop Reyes invited the Divine Word Fathers to run the Colegio de San Carlos de Cebu, as the Padres Paulas had to focus on the formation of priests.
On July 27 to 30, 1937, a diocesan synod, third in the history of the church in Cebu, was convoked and presided over by Archbishop Reyes. Among the matters discussed were formation in faith, ecclesiastical personnel, life and liturgy of clerics, vocation, decorum inside the church, sacred music, and catechetical instruction.
The Second World War disrupted the momentum of Archbishop Reyes' reform. The end of the war, however, saw a flowering of many Catholic schools.
In 1945, the Little Flower School opened in Dumanhon, the Notre Dame High School of San Fernando, and the Holy Trinity High School in Hinatilan.
In 1947, two colleges opened, the Colegio de San Jose Recolatos and the Colegio del Santo Niño de los Niños.
In 1949, the St. Mary's Academy was opened in Oslo.
In 1951, St. Peter's Academy in Alegria.
And in 1954, the Sacred Heart School of the Jesuits in Cebu City.
We can see in this list that the schools were not concentrated in the city but were distributed in the towns of the province. So extensive was Archbishop Reyes' work of reconstruction that he came to be known as Cebu's sub-church and school builder.